My curious and quirky topic in the world of customer strategy is a new online dating app called Thursday. It was recently launched in New York City and London with these huge pre-subscribed networks of daters. So it looks like it's going to be really successful. It's only available on, you guessed it, Thursday. The rest of the week, the dating app goes dark because, as the company said on their website, there's more to life than dating apps. So what are they up to? And maybe more importantly, what are the implications for the B2B businesses that we typically work with in the Caltech executive education program? Well, there's a lot of implications. What Mary and I like to call this strategy is forced discipline. It's saving customers from their own self-destructive behaviors, even if it means your company has to take a short-term revenue hit. And for some reason, millennials seem to be more accepting of these kinds of strategies than previous generations. And I didn't understand that. So I talked to some of them to interview them and find out why. It turns out that millennials aren't especially fond of getting hit with the sharp stick or the heavy stick of discipline. It's really more about them being able to trust a business who is willing to do the right things for their customers, even if it means they have to take less revenue. It's all about trust. And I heard when I talked to these millennials about companies like Chick-fil-A, famously closed on Sundays, but I heard about some other up-and-comers that you may not have heard of, like one of the UK's fastest growing privately held firms called Uni Pizza Ovens. They make pizza ovens. Uni recently grew significantly after announcing a huge price increase. But the reason for the price increase was they were upping the wage of all of their workers to 54% above the minimum wage in the UK. The lowest salaried worker in their plant now makes £35,000 a year. So really what forced discipline is all about is it ladders up to a strategy of trust. And the question is, should you consider a forced discipline strategy for your business? The answer is maybe not. If the way that you compete is through operational excellence, driving cost out of your business, providing the lowest prices to your clients and customers, this might not be a wise strategy because it's going to raise some costs in the short term. And if you're an innovative company, an innovator, we all know how tentative the grip on innovation is, how short-lived innovation is in terms of its competitive advantage. Maybe you ought to make hay while the sun's shining and not worry about this. But if you're one of the companies, many companies that competes on customer relationships and customer intimacy, not only should you consider the strategy, you can't let your competitors get the jump on you. Here's how it might work in B2B. We worked with an office supply distributorship company who got tired of competing on price. They wanted to build their customer relationships. So here was a self-destructive behavior that I saw in their industry. People over-ordered supplies. So for their multiple location clients, they put in place technology that kept track of inventory levels. And if a company ordered a supply that was overstocked somewhere else, rather than take the short-term sale, they facilitated a transfer. It caused a short-term revenue hit, but in the long run, it cemented customer relationships and loyalty and even led to improved margins in the long term. So here's 3 questions for you that you should ask yourself if you want to think about a forced discipline strategy. Are you a customer relationship-oriented competitor that you compete? Secondly, if you are, what are some of the potential self-destructive habits that your customers engage in? And thirdly, what are some of the programs, incentives that you can put in place to save customers from themselves? What will happen is you will position yourself as a trust leader and position yourself well with the up and coming global economic powerhouses called the millennials.